human rights like child rights and stopping the use of child soldiers. We've had people involved taking on child soldiers. 2 million have been killed over the last 5 years. Very few are injured, because once they're injured, they just throw them away. An unending source. And they're the most sophisticated weapon system that exists. Because the boys and girls not only are up front shooting and maiming under duress and drugged up and so on, but the girls also run the bivouacs and the camps, and they're also the sex slaves and the bushwives. And when we try to demobilize them, when we try to negotiate to get them out, we'll get 10 boys for every girl, because girls are far more precious a resource in the conflict than boys. And when we try to rehabilitate them and reintegrate them, the boys are in those societies, male-dominated societies, so that the warrior ethic is still there. But the girls have been sullied. They're abandoned. They're against the culture. They've been raped. They've got kids, and they're sick. And the worst thing about it is when you try to assist them, the girls literally feel guilty of having been raped. So strong is that cultural dimension. So difficult it is to bring this stability. And so, we can prevent genocides and massive destruction. We can, in fact, continue to advance solutions like responsibility to protect, where states cannot hide anymore behind sovereignty, because it's not an absolute anymore. We invented that. In 2001, our Prime Minister and a whole bunch of smart people got together and we created a concept that says if a country is massively abusing human rights of its people, we have a responsibility to go in and stop it. So why aren't we in Darfur? Not only did we create that in 2001, we convinced the world to sign up to it, and the UN agreed to it in 2005. One of the few reforms that made it through. So we're not only guilty of not, as other developed countries participated in preventing things like Darfur, stopping these genocides, we're even more guilty because we invented the solution and we don't want to apply it. And it's not because we're in Afghanistan that we're not in Darfur. We're not in Darfur because we gutted our capability to do Afghanistan and Darfur. In 1991, when I commanded my brigade in Balkarchi of 5,200 troops, I had at the time over 3,700 deployed, and that was only my brigade. From Cambodia, through Somalia, through the Middle East, moving into Yugoslavia. Today we can't keep 2,500 in the field. We gutted our diplomatic corps, who are not crushing the UN and crushing the processes in order to stop the intransigence of the Sudanese. And our international development is nowhere near the figures that we have called for. And so, ladies and gentlemen, there are solutions. And one of the ones is the whole NGO community that's working very much on empowering women. Many of those male-dominated societies simply can't handle it. The men can't. They're culturally too hung up. More and more women moving into it and empowering them will bring more flexibility into those solutions. We can, by educating the youth, give them the intellectual rigor to take on those responsibilities and difficulties. Education, education, education. And certainly, we can move them from the pretentious position of tolerance to one of humility and respect. Respect is the aim, for we are all the same.